on an all-new Dr. Phil. They say their mom has a new look,
She's lost how much weight?
150 pounds.
a new attitude,
I went postal.
Were you flipping us off?
I may have, but when I get upset, who knows what I hear.
You were double flipping us off.
Well, there were two of you.
and a new personality.
My mother is very promiscuous. She goes through boyfriends like a revolving door.
You said she met a random truck driver in a parking lot?
She's meeting semi-drivers, getting in the truck with them and having sex with them.
That's false.
Mom, it's true.
I'm not going to say I did something I did not do.
You either meet somebody in a parking lot and get up in their truck or you don't. I'm just wanting to know the truth. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, Hannah wrote into the show for my help. Her out-of-control partying mom, Teresa, is driving her crazy. Now, she and her sister Charlie claim that after their mother lost over 100 pounds and her husband passed away, she has just abandoned motherhood to drink, hang out in bars, and bounce from one random man to the next. But Teresa says, look, I'm done being a caretaker. And if her family can't be happy for her, well, that's on them. Now, you may think this story ends there. Well, not even close. In fact, the more we began to dig in and conduct our pre-interviews with the entire family, we discovered even a bigger problem. Turns out Teresa isn't just meeting random men in bars, but is currently talking to not one, not two, but at least 3 different men online who she's never met. Her children claim Teresa has tried to sell her house and furniture to help these men she has never laid eyes on. Teresa says her children need to just back off and let her have her freedom. She says she felt trapped like a prisoner in her own home. If she continues down this road, she may be a real prisoner. Take a look.
My mom is very selfish and self-absorbed right now. My mom has decided she's going to party.
She got worse after my dad passed in 2013.
My mother is very promiscuous and reckless. My mother has dated a lot of men in the last 2 to 3 years. At one point, she had 2 men living in the house with her at the same time.
My mom has had dramatic weight loss in the last couple years. She had gastric bypass, a lap band, and a tummy tuck after that.
My mom has lost close to 150 pounds. She has never been this thin. She's really enjoying seeking out attention from men. She's meeting semi-drivers at our Walmart store, getting in the truck with them and having sex with them.
My mom is frequently drunk. 2 years ago, my mom ended up in the hospital because she was so drunk. She fell off a bar stool. She had a huge bruise on her forehead.
She spends a lot of money on clothes right now. She should be paying her utilities, and instead she's choosing to spend the money on clothes. And now my mother has become involved with men online. She's convinced these men are real. These men are telling my mom they are stuck overseas and they want to get back to be with her forever. My mom has sent close to $7,000 overseas to a gentleman named Target.
My mom got in trouble for fraud. These online scammers would send her checks, and then she would deposit those checks into her bank account and then send them a portion of the money back. They sent 2 checks for $2,500 each. And then my mom wired the $5,000 back to this person. They were bad checks. She had to borrow the money from my grandma and grandpa that they had saved for their funeral to pay it back. I'm worried that she's going to get swept up in one of these scams and I won't ever see her again.
If I try to confront my mom, she'll basically tell me to leave her the hell alone.
Okay, guys, you're clearly concerned about your mom and her safety, right?
Yes.
So what is it she's doing that you're most concerned about?
She's completely out of control since my dad died. She's being really reckless and destructive.
And he passed away when?
In 2013.
Okay, and I'm very sorry for your loss. I understand it was a prolonged illness.
Yes.
And how long after that did she kind of cut loose?
I think she moved her next boyfriend in, which is her dad, within a month.
You said it's her?
It's her dad.
We're half sisters.
We're half
Right.
sisters.
Okay, so she moves him back in. She goes back to him.
Yes.
But that didn't work out.
No,
Correct.
You guys have concerns about specific behaviors. I kind of made a list. After we talked to y'all, you answered a lot of questions. Thank you very much. You said she's partying a lot. Fell off a bar stool, bruised her eye socket. I mean, it got so bad, hit herself enough, bruised her eye socket. You think she's driving drunk. She's out riding a dirt bike, and she's promiscuous. You think she's actually kind of hopping from man to man.
Yes.
Okay. Multiple online boyfriends, and she's wiring money. And they're conning her with this fake check scam where they say, okay, look, I don't want money from you. I want to give you money. I'm going to send you money. I don't want any money. I'm going to send you money. And they send her money, but say, will you now send me back some of my money? And they're playing the float. And so before that check can clear, they ask for money back. She sends them good money, then their check doesn't clear, and then she's on the hook for several $1,000s.
Yes.
And the bank's looking at her for fraud, right? She's selling her possessions. Why?
She approached me about buying her house because she wants to just leave everything behind, and she's convinced one of these online relationships is actually real and that she's going to meet up with him in Florida and live happily ever after.
And which one was this?
That would have been Jeffrey.
This was Jeffrey? Okay. You're saying she lies, uses money for cosmetic surgery, spends it on clothes, but doesn't pay her bills.
Correct.
Okay. And that she's accused of fraud because the grandchildren have Social Security money that's come in, and you think she's misappropriated that, and then adult abuse because you think she's bleeding your grandparents to the point that she no longer has access to the grandparents' funds.
Correct.
Now, you said she met a random truck driver in a parking lot?
At our local Walmart, I had a friend who saw her get into the semi with the semi driver, and I called her and she denied it, so I went down to see if her car was actually there, and her car was parked right where the friend said that she had got into the semi with the driver.
How do you meet a truck driver in a Walmart parking lot? Well, you just like go.
We don't know.
Could have been online. Could have been anything.
So you think it was a rendezvous that was set up?
Could have been.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just that she just pulled up next to the truck and said, hey.
I believe
could
it
have
was
been.
somebody that she maybe met on Facebook and said, if you're coming through town, meet me here. And
Would you ever in a million years have thought your mother would have been meeting a truck driver in a parking lot at Walmart?
oh,
No.
So something's off the rails here.
yeah.
She was caught by a live-in boyfriend having sex with a random guy in the driveway?
Yes.
Yes.
And what do you define random?
I guess it was some guy she met at a reunion that
What?
night. Some guy that she met at a reunion that night. Like just met that day.
Just met that day?
Yes.
But she had a live-in boyfriend?
Correct. Still does. She goes through boyfriends like a revolving door, and she cheats on every one of them.
Now, she's lost how much weight total?
150 pounds at least.
Big difference.
There is a big difference.
Okay.
And I want to make it clear, we're happy for our mom that she feels good about herself. We're not happy about how she is now portraying herself to men.
And she said, if you people can't be happy for me, then I don't need you in my life. She said that to us.
Okay. What do you want me to do with her?
I think
Can
she
you?
needs a stern talking to.
You what?
She needs a stern talking to. Nothing we have said has gotten through. I don't know, maybe it'll help coming from you. Another thing I'd like to touch on is the thing that bothers me the most is, kind of how you said, like, where does meddling and helping, where's the line there? What I feel most strongly is her personality change. Like, yes, I think the fraud is obviously bad, and she needs, to be reprimanded about that, and, these boyfriends, and, the safety factor really needs to be touched on there and let her know, like, hey, this isn't okay. But the thing that bothers me the most is her personality changes. She got extremely mad at us over nothing. Like, she goes 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. Like, she gets mad over nothing, and it's completely swearing off the handle. Like, she gets, like, crazy.
Different woman.
Oh,
Yes.
Different woman.
Like, it's pretty much bipolar. Like, she gets nuts.
You just don't know. Sometimes I
say a word
say,
to
are you
her.
Teresa or are you Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, coming up, we're going to meet them both, Teresa and Terry. The woman, Hannah and Charlie, say no longer acts like their mother. Does she have the right to do what she's doing? Has she crossed a line? Is she just a bird out of a cage? Has she earned the right to be who she is, do what she's doing? These are the questions after the break.
I've done my job parenting and raising the children. I believe it's my time to have fun, absolutely. I tell them to mind their own business. When you get perfect, you can judge me. Until then, don't call me.
And later, somebody's not telling me the truth.
But I'm not going to say I did something I didn't do.
It wasn't that she was trying to be nosy and get involved. It was, look, you need to know if your mom comes up missing, this is what I saw. I received a text from my best friend, and it was a picture of a woman's privates from the waist down. My friend said, you need to check your mom's Facebook. A man she had been talking to got angry and posted pictures that my mom had sent him of her spread eagle and a full frontal of herself with her face showing, and put it all over Facebook for everybody to see. And I was most concerned because my son, who's 13, I did not want them to see their Nana like that. I was absolutely mortified.
Well, Hannah says when her father passed, her mother, Teresa, did not give herself time to mourn at all and started dating multiple guys around town. Now, Teresa says she spent most of her life taking care of others. And now it's time that she takes care of herself. She takes care of her own needs. She says it's her turn.
My family is treating me disrespectfully. They don't have a clue. They've not lived and experienced the things that I have. They've accused me of being a whore, distant, cold, callous. I can be rude and cold and callous if you push me. I'm going to push you just a little bit harder back. I've done my job parenting and raising the children. I believe it's my time to have fun, absolutely. I'm living my own life. I'm going to do it my way. I tell them to mind their own business. And if I mess up, that's on me. I have dated more than 20 minutes since the passing of my late husband, Walter. I've lost pretty close to 230 pounds. The sex drive has definitely gone up. The children have made the comment that they definitely want their old mom back. Well, their old mom was very critically ill. I do not have a drinking problem today. If you count falling one time and getting a bump on your head an alcoholic, then I'm an alcoholic. Have I partied in the past? Absolutely. I've sent money 3 different occasions to men online. I got burned, absolutely. I've probably lost about $4,000. Absolutely, I've had my heart broken. In my opinion, Debbie and my 2 daughters, Charlie and Hannah, are here to point the finger and say, look how stupid my mother and sister are. They definitely paint a terrible portrait of me. And this is what I simply say. When you get perfect, you can judge me. Until then, don't call me.
Okay, well, we've been talking about you.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. They've had a lot to say. These girls love you a lot.
I know that.
They're concerned about you.
Absolutely.
They think that you've kind of spinning out of control, are you?
In my opinion, no.
Yeah. Why do you think they're concerned?
I think they're concerned because I'm nothing in the way that I used to be to them.
Right.
I've changed physically, mentally.
I've always been a very strong person and outspoken, but with empathy. So I don't think that they really understand, or I think they're clueless, basically.
Right. In what way? Clueless in what way?
Well, they're very judgmental, and I don't think that they realize even dating today is a completely different ballgame. I mean, in my opinion, very few people tell the truth, and that's sad to me, but it's just my opinion of what has transpired.
Yeah. Are any of the things that they're talking about or concerned about valid?
Have I went online and fallen for the wrong people? Absolutely the truth.
If they were doing some of the things you're doing, even now, younger or even now, would you be cautioning them to watch out?
Absolutely, but at the end of the day, it's still their choice. But I would strongly advise them to be careful, just based on what I've discovered recently.
Yeah, because they say that you've actually met someone you didn't even know in a parking lot at Walmart.
That's false. That is not true.
Okay. What do y'all say about that?
Mom, it's true.
Okay, hold on. Time out. See, this is what drives me crazy. This is what makes me wish I'd been a plumber. Seriously, be me for a minute.
I get you.
Okay, be me for a minute. See, people write in sometimes, many times, and sometimes for years. And sometimes people get up here and say, I've written in 28 times across 7 years. And then they finally get here and then lie. Now, there are not versions of the truth. There are some things that can be opinion, like, were you rude? Well, my opinion you were, my opinion I wasn't, yes you were. But you either meet somebody in a parking lot and get up in their truck or you don't. Now, that either happened or it didn't. That's not sort of, kind of, maybe. You either did or you didn't. That either happened or it didn't happen. And so all I want are the facts, because then I can, and by the way, I'm not even saying you don't have the right to do that if you want to. I got nothing against truck drivers or truck drivers having a good time. I'm just wanting to know the truth. Just tell me. So when you say it did, it didn't, somebody's not telling me the truth, which means I'm wasting my time.
What you're seeing is not what's at home.
So what was your response?
I went postal.
Were you flipping us off?
No, I don't remember that, but I may have. But when I get upset, who knows what I do.
And later, you expected to pay back money that is intended for your grandchildren.
The money was stolen out of my car, and 2 times my wallet was stolen because undoubtedly I didn't learn the first time.
Somebody's not telling me the truth, which means I'm wasting my time. So what is the truth? Before anybody answers, think about what you're saying and tell me the truth so I know what I'm dealing with. It can't be both. She either did or she didn't.
I drove down to Walmart and your vehicle was there, but you were not. And you weren't in the store.
Okay, she has a friend that called her and told her that she visually saw me get in a semi-truck with a truck driver, and that if I come up missing...
That's a pretty random thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, just out of the blue, just say, I saw your mother. I mean, nobody's ever called somebody and said they saw me getting in their truck.
But I'm not going to say I did something I didn't do. And it wasn't, for your information, when I've spoken to Rochelle since then, which did occur in Walmart, but when Rochelle called you, it was actually in Yonkers parking lot, which had nothing to do with Walmart.
Where were you, by the way? Your car was there and you weren't. Where were you?
I was in the store of Yonkers, which used to be like an Elder Beerman store.
So you were in the store?
Yes, I was.
So how'd you get to Yonkers from Walmart if your car was at Walmart?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I wasn't at Walmart. I've since spoken to Rochelle, who contacted Charlie to tell her that she visually saw me get in.
But I visually saw your car in the Walmart parking lot.
No.
Yes, I did, Mom.
Well, you may have. I go to Walmart on occasion, but on that particular day that Rochelle, Rochelle even texted me and said, and I just thought it was a joke.
Well,
and I text back, very funny.
It wasn't that she was trying to be nosy and get involved. It was, look, you need to know if your mom comes up missing, this is what I saw.
Yeah, I know. And Rochelle, you know, I've contacted Rochelle as well, and I've spoken to her in Walmart since. And I let her know it was not me. I have plenty of bad things. I have plenty of bad things about myself or what people may perceive as bad. I don't think you have to make them up.
Another thing that I was scared that would happen today is she puts on this front. This, what you're seeing, is not what's at home. This is not how she acts normally. Like if she was this way, there wouldn't be a disrespect problem. There wouldn't be a way she treats people problem because clearly she does not act like this at home. She acts like a completely different person.
So how does she act? Role play?
Role play. Oh, God, I can't do that now. In the hotel room, it was you and you, Charlie. You ignored me. And I swear, she asked me 3 times, and I was on the phone. And she freaked out and said that I ignored her. I was like, hey, don't count on me staying here. No. She goes nuts.
Would you like to hear my version of that story or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. It's true that they were all in my room. And Hannah was on the phone with her boyfriend. And I had asked...
Could I get the short version?
Yeah. And long story short,
please.
Hannah gets up and goes and shows Charlie this picture of this dog. And Charlie's showing another picture of a dog. And I had asked Hannah 3 times. By that time, she had already hung up from the phone.
And I was in a conversation
with Charlie. And she ignored me totally, which she does on a very frequent basis. And it's just, in a nutshell, it's disrespectful, the way that they conduct themselves with me. When they were children, and I know they're not children now, but if you ask even your son or daughter as an adult a question, and you've had to ask that same question 3
So what was
times,
your response?
My response was, stop ignoring me. And then it blew into the full-blown, like she said, where I went postal.
And what is postal for you?
Normal.
Told them to get out. I told them to get out of my room. I mean, I just don't want to argue.
Were you throwing bombs at them and all?
I did, absolutely.
Were you flipping us off?
No, I don't remember that, but I may have. But when I get upset, who knows what I do?
You were double flipping us off.
Well, there were 2 of you.
See, this is what I'm saying. This isn't real. This is an act. And this is what I'm so frustrated with is just the disrespect and the way she treats people is not okay.
Teresa says her sister and daughters are just jealous because she's thin now and is no longer doing everything for them. But her sister, Debbie, says she's not jealous, she's just concerned. So we're going to add her to the conversation next. We'll be right back.
Teresa meets a lot of men online. I think that she's too old to be out partying like a 20-year-old. I believe that Teresa is definitely putting herself in danger.
Closed captioning provided by...
2 months ago, my mom told her live-in boyfriend that she was going to visit my grandparents, and instead she chose to go to a bar where she proceeded to get very intoxicated. She had another gentleman bring her home, and her live-in boyfriend caught them having sex in her driveway. My mom's boyfriend became very angry and told my mom to get out of the car. The gentleman my mom was with kept saying, "You told me you were single." I'm very embarrassed with my mother's behavior. I do think having sex with strangers is unacceptable.
Well, Debbie says her sister Teresa has done a complete turnaround from the person she used to be. She says her sister used to plan the family vacations, cook amazing dinners, but now she's going to bars, picking up random men, and she just wants her to calm down and grow up. Those are her words. Take a look.
Teresa has dated probably 20 men or more since her husband has passed. I do believe she's being very promiscuous. Teresa got married at the age of 17, and I believe that Teresa thinks that she's missing out on a lot of things because she did get married at such a young age. She said she's done taking care of everybody else. She wants to live her own life. My sister Teresa has lost over 200 pounds. That is a dramatic weight loss. I think that she's too old to be out partying like a 20-year-old. I believe that Teresa is definitely putting herself in danger. Teresa meets a lot of men online. I'm 100% certain that Teresa uses money from her current boyfriend to send to the online scam artist. Teresa fell in love with an online man named Jeffrey. Jeffrey claimed that he was ex-military in Afghanistan. Teresa's plan was to move to his home that he has in Florida. I did some investigation myself. I found that Jeffrey was impersonating a soldier named Charles. I actually was able to contact this person. I talked to him, and he said that was not him asking my sister for the money. However, Teresa did not want to talk to him, and she thought that I was being scammed. She's been scammed by at least 4 people that I know of. I think Teresa needs to grow up and realize that she needs to be the mother, the grandmother that she should be.
Okay, thanks for joining us. You've been listening all along, right?
Yes.
First, let me give you the floor. What do you want to add, react, or respond to?
What I want to add is we are all very concerned about Teresa, about her behavior. Like Hannah said, we're worried that she's going to get caught up in some online scam, go and meet some guy, either get kidnapped, murdered. We just want her to focus on, what's here and now. I can't tell you how many men she's probably talked to online. And the money. Obviously, she's sending all of them, or several of them I know of, money because they give her false hopes and false dreams. I love you, I'm coming, we're going to be together, we're going to live happily ever after, and she believes them.
Okay, let me just take a poll here, and then you tell me what you think. You guys agree, do you not, that she does have the right to live her life?
Absolutely.
And she has a right to do what she wants to with her life. In fact, if she wants to go out and just be a wild party girl, she has the right to do that.
She does, but what we're concerned about is her putting herself in danger.
I understand. I'm getting to that. But you understand, she does have the right.
Yes.
She has the right to not even be here.
Correct.
So you don't have any control over her. You can influence her, but you can't control her. She has a right to do whatever she wants to do, including not being here. So why are you here?
I'm here. I want the family to be reunited.
Okay. So you're not trying to dictate to her, but what you're trying to say is, okay, you be who you want to be, but with freedom comes responsibility. You've got to do this in a responsible way. And you've lost your way. That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
And you admit that you've lost your way some. You've gotten scammed some.
Absolutely.
And you said, I've been with 20 men in the last 4 years.
Almost 5 years, but yeah.
Almost 5 years, okay. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. You've been with 20 different guys. That's your words, not mine. You said it, I didn't. I can play back.
No, I just want to know what you mean by been with and not
Well,
sexually.
I don't know. You said it, I didn't.
I'm not sexually, no, but I've conversated with a good 20, yes.
Well, I'm
Absolutely.
21 then, okay?
Gotcha.
This is what you call...
Gotcha.
See, you want to know what I think's going on? I'm telling you what's driving her. That's a lot of power.
They didn't even come afterwards to visit me. None of them. I'm talking 0.
Closed captioning provided by You want to know what I think's going on?
Sure, I'd love that. I really would.
You lost a child. I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
You had a very sick child that you had to take care of. You had a very ill husband
True.
that you had to take care of. You spent a lot of time being a caretaker.
Most of my life, yes.
And when those responsibilities end, then it's like a huge burden off of you. I'm not saying that you're glad when your husband passes, but there is a part of you that you don't like to say out loud that there is some relief there. Because as unpolitic as it is, there is a lifted burden there. So the caretaking is over with. And then at the same time, you lose a lot of weight. And so you have a new body and new energy. I mean, like 150 pounds this last time around, all of a sudden that's gone. And I just kind of fear like you're like the person that gets a brand new car and you're like really proud of it and you want to give everybody a ride.
It's amazing.
I mean, you're really proud of your car, you know, so it's like, hey, okay. It's fun, right?
Well, the part that you omitted from that story, from my perspective, is this. You're absolutely right. But you have to remember, they didn't even come afterwards to visit me. None of them. They could have stopped by for 5 minutes. Once a week, it would have been something. Once a month would have been awesome. I'm talking zero.
So you make your own party. You make your own companionship. You make your own life.
I can buy my own new car.
Yeah. And get
that's
some passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to ride, you'll find somebody that does.
No car seats allowed.
Yeah.
But there's
So-
one thing that, too, also, Teresa, when you were taking care of Walter there at the end, you weren't, it's not like you were totally committed in that relationship when he was very sick.
So I shouldn't grieve because you think I wasn't
no,
totally
I'm just
committed?
saying, you're saying that you had a rough life, and nobody's disputing that by no means. But you still had some fun times during that rough ride.
But your point is?
The point is, I know she's understanding. She's saying, you know, I've lived a rough life, and so this is my now. I'm done with that life. I'm just saying it was a rough life, but sometimes I don't think it's as rough as you want us to believe it was.
Well,
Do you agree?
I mean, but do you want to say, was it a 6 versus an 8 or a 5 versus a 9? I mean, what's your point? I mean, I'm telling you psychologically that there is a sense of freedom of being set free, new body, new set of responsibilities, much less than before, mentally, emotionally, reality-wise. I'm telling you what's going on. This is like teenage rebellion.
Okay.
You can mitigate that in your head all you want, but if you want to know what's driving her, I'm telling you what's driving her. It's like all of a sudden, I can do what I want to do. I don't have to go home and tend to somebody part-time, full-time, no time. Only person I got to deal with is me. And you know, that's a lot of power.
Right.
And power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you have that to control and manage, and it's awful hard to modulate that sometimes. And I think that's what you're dealing with here. I think the hope is that she can deal with that as an adult instead of a teenager before she gets really hurt.
Right.
That's what y'all are concerned about.
Right. We're concerned about her safety.
And that's what you should be concerned about. Teresa's family says she has too much credit card debt, plus she spends the money she does have on clothes and these online boyfriends. They even accuse her of stealing her granddaughter's benefit fund. We'll talk about all that when we come back, because I've said she's like gotten out of this mental emotional prison, but she could make some decisions where she could wind up in a real prison, according to them. We'll be right back.
My mom signed up to be a payee for her granddaughter through Social Security. The government is supposed to send money to my mom, and then she's supposed to give it to her grandchild. But she was keeping the money. I think it's $7,000.
Social Security gave her a deadline to pay the money back, and she hasn't made that deadline.
I think it's terrible to be taking money from a child.
My mom is a heavy drinker.
Since my mom has lost weight, she's been going out more and drinking more.
I believe that my mom drinks every day. My mom has always been heavy and always used food as an addiction, and now she has turned to alcohol because she can't eat anymore because of the surgery, so alcohol has replaced the food addiction.
Now, Charlie says that her mom shows up drunk at family events and acts so outrageously that her grandchildren now call her crazy Nana. They also say that she's got on her public face now, and that if she behaved the way at home that she's behaving now, that we wouldn't be here. But that she's much more defiant, in your face, with kind of a kiss my ass attitude at home. But here, she's being much more socially appropriate. And they say she's making some really bad decisions, including misappropriating money that could get her in trouble. Has that happened?
No. Here's what happened. Do you want to hear my version of that story, short and long, or what?
Really short. Because
really
I know,
short.
well, I know both sides of the story. I'm just saying, let me ask you this. Are you, whether it's fair or unfair, are you expected to pay some money back?
Yes, the money was stolen out of my car, and I tried to get the police report before I came here, as I think I was speaking with Jen at that time. And our flight left.
It was stolen out of your car?
Yes.
Cash?
Yes. And there was also expenses that I have that I can prove that I have spent.
What were you doing with cash in your car?
I had cashed the check, and 2 times my wallet was stolen because undoubtedly I didn't learn the first time. I live in a very small town.
Where were you got
when it got stolen?
Car broken into twice?
Once happened in my driveway, and once happened in my parents' driveway. And who was there at my parents'? My parents, which I would never, ever think. And the other was my sister and my brother and her husband and myself.
Well, you don't think she stole it?
I'm not, no. I don't think that's just it. I don't want to blame anybody. But I do have a police report I can get.
But you're expected to pay back money that is intended for your grandchildren.
One granddaughter, and I'd asked them to remove my name, and they hadn't yet. And some checks weren't even cashed, and that's the truth, too.
So you owe $7,000?
No, not, because there was expenses out of that, and then there was also some checks that were never cashed.
So what do you understand she owes?
We understand that it was around $7,000.
Yeah, the paper will say that, yeah.
What?
The paper that you received will say that, but like I just explained, expenses, and I've never told them that it's been stolen, and I've had my wallet stolen twice.
You have a drinking problem, Mother.
I do not have a drinking problem.
Mom, you stole the whiskey from Debbie's hotel room.
Closed captioning provided by... Well, we've run out of time today. There is a whole lot more to talk about with Teresa. Was she partying last night? Her daughters say there was some missing whiskey that needs to be accounted for. And what about these online loves we have heard so much about? Well, we've done some detective work, and you will not believe what we found. Well, Teresa has been denying everything her daughters have accused her of. Everything. Will she own up to any of her behaviors, including what her ex-husband has to say? You will not want to miss that. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, that's it.